जब भी whenever you are writing a statement of purpose or a personal statement, make sure that your story is being heard. Point of view and perspective can be broken down into categories. When I did go abroad to study in Sydney at Macquarie University, मैं economics भी पढ़ रही थी and I had a very strong background in history. When I was actually abroad on my own with no help at all, I think one thing that really helped me sail through was having that perspective. The kind of learning that you are having not only in the academic classroom but also outside is phenomenal. मतलब इतना सीखने को मिल जाता है. Be it आप undergraduate level पे कहीं जा रहे हैं, आप postgraduate level पे जा रहे हैं, आपकी MPhil, PhD की भी अगर application हो, one core element of that application would be hello, hi. मेरा नाम तान्या है और मेरी स्टोरी की शुरुआत बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है. So let me take you through a very quick walkthrough of what my life has been so far. In my 23 years of existence, I have traveled to across 34 different cities in India and बाहर भी बहुत सारे देश और बहुत सारे शहर देखे हैं. I come from a फौजी background. My father's been in the Indian Navy. और जब मैं I think I was just about 10 years old, I realized that changing schools at the frequency that I was doing made me so adaptable, made me make new friends, and at the same time, I think I also really learned that there will be challenges thrown your way, there will be new situations, and एक चीज जो consistent रही है मेरी life में है is my love for reading and love for books. So my story starts in a very interesting way. I was about 17 years old when I realized for the first time कि gender empowerment and talking about women in leadership roles is very core to my heart. It's very important for me. It's very fundamental to my value system. I learned a lot of different languages growing up. Had a lot of books in my little library in a corner, which I used to keep. And growing up, I also realized that books have become my best friend. So having built a very voracious appetite for reading, for learning new words, and generally becoming somebody who wanted to have good diction. Whenever you're talking to people, I think communication skills really set you apart. So with that being said, my overall experience of being a public speaker, somebody who likes to talk to people, has also driven me to a point where I'm at right now in my life, that I conduct heritage walks. I speak to a lot of people on an everyday basis and talk to them about their interests, what is it that they like doing, and try and cull out from their experiences, understand. And I think that also not only makes me a good communicator, but also a storyteller. And that's what most of your applications require, a good storytelling technique. Follow a 3P principle, which is purpose, having simple, plain English, and a perspective or a point of view. Now we'll start at the very beginning. Purpose defines anything that is very strong to your value system. मैंने बताया था कि मेरे value system के लिए gender empowerment, speaking up, speaking at the table has been very important. It can be anything for you. आप बहुत actively रीड करते हैं न्यूज़पेपर ऑन एन एवरीडे बेसिस, राइट? इट कुड बी वन ऑफ दोज एग्जांपल्स. आपको क्लाइमेट चेंज के बारे में बहुत जानकारी है एंड यू वांट टू टॉक अबाउट इट एट अ लोकल लेवल, एट अ सब नेशनल लेवल. Pick up the mic and start speaking. I got this opportunity to pick up the mic here, talk to you. So perhaps you can do the same. Find community networks where you can talk to people about it, right? Start writing on a piece of paper what really aligns with your purpose. And finally, what you call like a statement of purpose nowadays for most of the university applications that you will be filling out. Be it आप undergraduate level पे कहीं जा रहे हैं, आप postgraduate level पे जा रहे हैं, आपकी MPhil, PhD की भी अगर application हो, one core element of that application would be writing a statement of purpose. I think number 2 or the second thing that I talked about was plain English. ज़्यादा jargon मत use करो. जब भी whenever you are writing a statement of purpose or a personal statement, make sure that your story is being heard. And it can simply be done with writing words that are clear, that can be understood by any layperson, right? You don't have to sound like a Shashi Tharoor to really get your story and your point across. And the last and the third and most important point here would be perspective, bringing your point of view. For example, you've narrated an entire story, right? You've talked about let's say energy as a sector, which is very interesting for you. You are applying for a public policy master's um, in a university, let's say in the United Kingdom. Now, point of view and perspective can be broken down into categories in the sense you want to also look at why is it United Kingdom? Can you really make a difference in public policy when you move to United Kingdom? Is it the policy there that really intrigues you? Is it the curriculum that intrigues you, which will make you want to make a change and then come back to India and talk about big scale changes, right? So that point of view and that perspective is very, very important. With that being said, I think overall having a structure to your SOPs, having a structure to your applications is super, super important. So जैसे हम I think school में भी बात करते थे, essays होते थे, we used to write speeches, reports. Everything starts with a good introduction and a good ending. And whatever you write as content, which goes in the middle paragraphs of that entire content body, is what should be your story, right? So I have done a very interesting course of study, right? मैंने history पढ़ा, वो भी दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी से, and I got this opportunity to go on an exchange program or a study abroad program, जहाँ मैं सिडनी में थी पूरे 8 महीनों के लिए, और मैंने अपनी लाइन ऑफ डिसिप्लिन से बिल्कुल ही हटके कुछ कर लिया. आई स्टडीड इकोनॉमिक्स एंड मैंने देखा है कि एक चीज़ जो मेरी सबसे फंडामेंटल लर्निंग ये रही है कि जो करिकुलम्स बहुत इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी होते हैं, जो आई थिंक थोड़ा सा मिसिंग है व्हेन इट कम्स टू योर स्टडी ऑप्शंस इन इंडिया. आजकल भी बहुत यूनिवर्सिटीज़ हैं, नो डाउट, बट क्योंकि मैं दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी से पढ़ी हुई थी, तो मेरे लिए वो स्पेक्ट्रम ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग कि हाँ, ये भी ऑप्शंस होते हैं यार, इकोनॉमिक्स के साथ यार मैं लिबरल आर्ट्स भी पढ़ सकती हूँ, आई कैन डू दिस, आई कैन डू दैट. ये ऑप्शंस आई थिंक थोड़े लिमिटेड थे. But when I did go abroad to study in Sydney at Macquarie University, मैं economics भी पढ़ रही थी and I had a very strong background in history. So having decided your course in advance, knowing what your faculty will be, who will be the people who you will be interacting with, आपके research projects क्या होंगे, अगर आपके कुछ specific research interests हैं जिनमें आप further studies करना चाहते हैं, ये अगर आप अपने लिए, if you just make a mental note of these things before moving abroad, I think it really sorts your life for a very, very long time. Lot of people, when they go abroad, are confused. What do we want to do in life? Maybe we'll get a better lifestyle. Maybe life change हो जाएगी, independence मिल जाएगी. I think सबसे important मेरी learning ये भी रही थी that I was living on my own. I think for me, the biggest charm of stepping outside my house, although I said I lived in 34 different cities by the time I was only 22, for me, living in a new city, going all alone and setting up my own little dorm, making my own life, you know, जैसे वो videos हम देखते हैं आजकल लड़कियों की और लड़कों की, and everybody has become an influencer. They're talking about how, you know, they're making their beds, that's the most important thing. Then they go to work, like the 9 to 5, but the 5 to 9 after the 9 to 5. And all of this is getting so romanticized and like glorified. When I was actually abroad on my own with no help at all, I think one thing that really helped me sail through was having that perspective. So that perspective and point of view out of those 3 P's that I talked about earlier is very important. I think it helps you center, it helps you come back. So many times you get disillusioned because moving to a new, absolutely new environment is very, very different. It's not something you can ever imagine. People like the charm of going abroad, but there are umpteen number of challenges. Challenges are not new. Challenges हमेशा आएंगे, हर point of time पे आएंगे. और जितना जितना लोगों से interact करते हो, मुझे लगता है कि challenges को एकदम बुलंद होके I feel like उनसे battle करने की जो एक क्षमता और शक्ति मिल जाती है, that is one learning जो मुझे यहाँ शायद नहीं मिली. And I'll be very honest. मुझे लगा कि जब मैं बाहर थी and I was all alone in a new, absolutely different environment, a new country, अपने जैसे लोग भी कम होते हैं, right? Indians कम थे. Where I was living, I'll tell you about my situation, especially living in academic. मैं एक 6 sharing dorm situation में रहती थी और मेरे एक भी, I promise you when I say, मेरा एक भी housemate या roommate को ना हिंदी आती थी, ना वो सेम चीजें खाते थे जो मैं खाती थी, एंड मैं इतना खाना भी नहीं बनाना जानती थी. सो इट वाज अ बिग स्ट्रगल. लाइक ऑनेस्टली food becomes such a challenge and such a task. I think मेरी पूरी लिस्ट में of जो जो मुझे करना है दिन में, खाना खाना सबसे नीचे आता था. And I had dramatically dropped so much weight. मैंने बहुत weight lose किया. And I think a lot of students who go abroad also start missing family a lot. They really have a sense of disconnect from their family in India. वो कहते हैं ना, it's like this NRI confusion. Movies में देखते हैं हम, दिलवाले दुल्हनिया ले जाएंगे, and dime a dozen इतनी सारी Bollywood movies बनी about it. There's always a question mark कि आप यहाँ के हो या आप जिस country में move करे हो वहाँ के हो. So that constant sense of having like a double identity. I think dealing with those challenges and helping have a very strong mental makeup is also, I think, super crucial. And what will help you center, and what I am basically trying to reiterate, is having perspective, having that point of view that what are you doing with these studies? What is it exactly that your goal is? Whether it's these 2 years of your master's, or 2 years or 3 years of an undergraduate program, or let's say the 5-10 years after that. I think मेरा first day था और मैं Macquarie University में थी, Sydney में. वहाँ पे I remember I was given a bed, a cupboard, no sheets, no mats, no heater, no electrical appliances, absolutely makeshift. So from scratch, having to rebuild, refurnish a house, that has been the biggest learning for me. And that is also something I brought back. So जब मैं यहाँ आई वापस, मेरे को था कि I will really rebuild the way I look at living spaces around me. So the kind of learning that you are having not only in the academic classroom but also outside is phenomenal. मतलब इतना सीखने को मिल जाता है और हर पर्सपेक्टिव से लगता है कि यार ये लर्निंग है, आज इतना सीख लिया मैंने, आज मैंने एक कोई न्यू आइटम बना लिया, समथिंग दैट आई हैव ट्राइड ऑफ यूट्यूब, आई फेल्ड मिजरेबली एट इट बट आई स्टिल डन इट, राइट? एंड दैट सेंस ऑफ कॉन्फिडेंस दैट यू गेट, I don't think you get it whilst living at home or having had like a community living in India. When I went abroad, और जब मैं वहाँ पे I think different nationalities के लोगों से बात करती थी, उनसे interact करती थी, I also really felt my sense of confidence being boosted. And I think that's really going to happen to you as well if you've lived in India for a really long time, never really ventured out on your own. मैंने first flight जब अपनी international flight ली थी, sitting on that airplane and not knowing whether I can ask somebody ki can I get an extra cup of water, because I used to feel so ashamed and shy. Back cut to when I was coming back from Sydney, I knew exactly what I want, and I also ordered myself some alcohol. So all I'm trying to say is that the way my shell has broken, I think it really happens to people as well who do step abroad. So I was in Australia till about end of December last year. I just came back. I started a new job. फुल टाइम जॉब के साथ में मुझे एक पार्ट टाइम शौक जो है वो है टू कंडक्ट हेरिटेज वॉक्स, जो मैंने पहले बताया था, एंड आई एब्सोल्युटली लव इट. आई थिंक ऑल्सो वन थिंग व्हाट ऑस्ट्रेलिया टॉट मी, व्हाट माय स्टडी अब्रॉड एक्सपीरियंस टॉट मी, व्हाट मूविंग टू डिफरेंट कंट्रीज ऑल्सो, आफ्टर कमिंग बैक फ्रॉम ऑस्ट्रेलिया आई वाज एबल टू ट्रैवल टू एटलीस्ट 2 डिफरेंट कंट्रीज इन अफ्रीका. और मैं कॉन्फ्रेंसेस के लिए जाने लगी, स्टार्ट स्पीकिंग टू पीपल एट, like I said earlier on, national level, sub-national level, where you are coming and you're representing your country. So that, I think, has instilled a very, very big sense of confidence in me, and I'm sure it'll do it for you.